Hey, this is Jack from salesbread.com. And if you're using LinkedIn to do any form of lead generation, then certainly you're worrying about the connection acceptance rate that you have. And yet, a lot of the attention for optimizing getting more connections is spent on this message, whether you send a blank request or you try and send a custom personalized one. The reality is there's another area of your profile that deserves some thought if you want to increase your connection rate, and that is the headline. Let's look at a few examples. Digital Rainmaker at some company with some, extra note about the industry. And then there's like the classic sales, I help these kinds of companies do this, kind of the Donald Miller story brand approach. And then last, there's this like straightforward job title, company, industry approach. And it got me thinking, what should we be doing? I had an assumption that this I help industry with X is kind of been phased out because that really smells like a sales approach. But instead of making that guess, what I did is reviewed 2,000 super connectors on LinkedIn and like threw in headlines and categorized what kinds of headlines were being used. So if it was, if there was a job title, I added it here. If they had black belt, I noted it as like a personality trait. And there's a couple different like attributes that I assigned. Some had taglines, some just were stats, etc. And I went to the data to figure out when it comes to the LinkedIn super connectors that had the maximum 30,000 connections. And I know this by basically scraping a couple thousand profiles and verifying how many connections they had. What does their headline look like? And that's what today's episode is about. So let's get straight to it. So the most common attribute, and again, like attribute would be back to this sheet. Is it job titles or personality? What kind of things are being said in the headline? Job title is the most popular. A little bit less than half mention job title. Next, we have social proof. So this would be like author, podcast host, Forbes 30 under 30, followed by product description, just like a straight, this is what we're selling to whom. Industry is just calling out if you're in healthcare, if you're in tech, if you're in legal. And stats, tagline, and personality, they're actually used a lot less than I thought. They're kind of self-explanatory, but let's see what the combinations typically look like. So about 35% of the super connectors just use a job title. So a good example here, job title, like the headline would be CEO at company. That's it. About 13% of the super connectors use a combination of job title and social proof. Let's look at this. And just like, without further ado, this is the approach that I'm going to be recommending from now on. Use job title and social proof and get out of there. That's it. Good example is CEO and co-founder of company, Pipe, Forbes 30 under 30. And while we're here, this Pipe divider, if you will, I wanted to see what was more commonly used, this or commas. I'll let you guess for 3 seconds, but basically the Pipe is the most common divider amongst super connectors on LinkedIn. Not by a lot, but I will be using Pipe as my recommendation. And interestingly enough, all of the examples that I randomly grabbed are using Pipe to call out different sections of their headline. Okay, so we're going to go through 2 more. So job title, product description, used by about 6% of the super connectors. That looks like CEO of ViewMind, precision cognitive biomarkers. So just call out what it is that you're selling. It is happening a little bit more than 6% of our list. And then some of us are throwing the kitchen sink. So we're mentioning industry, job title, product description, and social proof. It's a mouthful, but it looks like this. Senior executive, artificial intelligence patent holder. So here's your social proof. Here's your industry. Here's your product description. Here's your job title. So I'm not going to recommend this. And the reason why is you see these headlines, they get cut off after a certain point. It turns out that we have 71 characters that we can use before we get chopped off. So while it is used a bit by the most connected people on LinkedIn, if you want to maximize your connection rate, I think it's going to be important to not have it broken off by LinkedIn. So therefore, stick to 71 characters. And in order to do that, stick to job title and social proof. If you are not sure what to put for social proof, a lot of the super connectors use author, use an award like 30 Under 30, use podcast host, use Techstar backed, like or a HubSpot company, like just any way that you can position your company or yourself above the rest. So think about awards, think about achievements. If that is not coming easily to you, the next best bet is just do product description. So it'd be CEO at company, let's say AI for radiologists or whatnot. Just call out what it is. And let's wrap here with a word cloud. Interestingly enough, the most common words that we're seeing in headline, we have CEO, founder, followed by marketing. So we also have advisor. That may be, if you have an advisory role, I'd recommend putting it. It seems to be working. But if you're looking for social proof, credibility boosting, let's say words, the best two or the most common are host, followed by speaker. Okay. So with that, I think it's time to give a second look at your headline. Leave a comment. I'll do more data analysis. Thanks, Jack at salesbear.com.